Welcome to Alternative Info AI. This is our first stop in a 13-part series, Tech Time Travel, from the 60s to AI's future, that travels from vinyl spinning 60s tech all the way to today's AI-driven wonders. Let's see how transistor radios and giant computers lit the fuse on our digital explosion. Don't be shy. Subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Your future cyborg self will thank you.
The 1960s, a decade of change, a time of hope. The world was buzzing with new ideas and cultural shifts. It was a period marked by significant social movements, music revolutions, and a sense of optimism that anything was possible. A world on the brink of a technological revolution. Early computers and electronics were beginning to make their mark, setting the stage for the digital age that was to come. Laboratories were filled with scientists and engineers working on groundbreaking innovations. Imagine a world without smartphones, laptops, or the internet. Communication was slower, more deliberate. Telephones were tethered by cords, and offices were filled with typewriters and filing cabinets. Newspapers were a primary source of information, and people read them diligently every morning. A world where music came from vinyl records, and televisions displayed images in black and white. Families gathered around the TV for their favorite shows, and the crackle of a vinyl record was a cherished sound in many homes. This was the reality of the early 1960s. Life was different then. Families spent more time together, often engaging in activities that didn't involve screens. Board games, outdoor play, and face-to-face conversations were the norm. Technology, while present, played a different role. It was more about functionality and less about connectivity. Appliances and gadgets were designed to assist with daily tasks, making life a bit easier but not necessarily more connected. It was simpler, more mechanical. Devices were built to last with a focus on durability and craftsmanship. The inner workings of these machines were often visible, a testament to the engineering marvels of the time. The whirring of a record player or the click-clack of a typewriter were familiar sounds. These noises were part of the daily soundtrack of life, creating a rhythm that was both comforting and productive. This was the analog age, an era where technology was tangible, with knobs to turn and dials to adjust. Radios and audio equipment were prized possessions, often the centerpiece of a living room. A time when technology, while rapidly evolving, still held a certain warmth, a tangible connection between user and device. There was a sense of intimacy in the way people interacted with their gadgets, a hands-on experience that is often lost in today's digital world. Before the digital revolution, life moved at a different pace. Information traveled slower. Communication relied on letters, telegrams, and rotary phones. Entertainment meant gathering around the radio or television. Families huddled together, sharing stories and laughter as they enjoyed their favorite programs. The world felt smaller then, more connected in some ways. People interacted face-to-face. Communities were strong. There was a sense of shared experience. This was life before the digital age. A time of simplicity, connection, and a slower, more deliberate pace of existence. In the heart of the 1960s, a tiny component ignited a technological revolution, the transistor. This small semiconductor device, invented in 1947, became the building block of modern electronics. Transistors replaced bulky vacuum tubes, shrinking the size and increasing the power of electronic devices. Radios became portable. Televisions became smaller and more affordable. The impact of the transistor was profound. It paved the way for the development of computers, calculators, and other electronic devices that would shape the future. The transistor revolution was a pivotal moment in technological history, marking the transition from the analog to the digital age. Amidst the rapid technological advancements of the 20th century, vinyl records reigned supreme as the quintessential medium for music lovers. These black discs, with their intricate grooves, held the power to transport listeners to another world, providing the soundtrack to the 1960s and beyond. Each groove on a vinyl record was meticulously etched to capture the sounds of a generation. These grooves held the melodies, rhythms, and harmonies that defined an era, making vinyl records an essential part of the musical landscape. From the soulful melodies of Motown to the rebellious spirit of rock and roll, vinyl records captured the essence of the era. Iconic album covers became visual symbols of the music within, and each record told a story that resonated with listeners. Vinyl records were more than just a medium for music. They were cultural artifacts that represented the zeitgeist of the 1960s. Collecting records became a hobby, a passion, and a way to connect with the music on a deeper level. Record stores were the epicenters of this cultural phenomenon. People gathered at these stores, flipping through albums, discovering new artists, and sharing their love for music. It was a communal experience that brought people together. The ritual of carefully placing a record on a turntable, gently lowering the needle, and immersing oneself in the sound was a cherished experience. This tactile interaction with music created a unique bond between the listener and the artist. Vinyl records weren't just about the music, they represented a way of life, a shared passion, and a tangible connection to the artists and their art. For many, collecting vinyl was a lifelong journey, filled with memories and moments that defined their personal and collective histories. As we look back on the era of vinyl, we see more than just a format for playing music. We see a cultural movement that shaped a generation, leaving an indelible mark on the history of music and the hearts of those who lived through it. Technology and culture, a symbiotic relationship. The 1960s witnessed a fascinating interplay between technology and culture. It was a decade where the rapid pace of technological advancements began to seep into the everyday lives of people, transforming not just how they lived, but also how they thought and interacted with the world around them. Technological advancements influenced cultural trends, creating new possibilities and avenues for expression. The introduction of new gadgets and devices changed the way people communicated, entertained themselves, and even dressed. And in turn, cultural shifts drove technological innovation. As society's needs and desires evolved, so did the technology that aimed to meet those demands. This dynamic relationship created a feedback loop, where each advancement spurred further cultural and technological developments. The rise of rock and roll music was intrinsically linked to the availability of affordable transistor radios. These portable devices allowed teenagers to access music like never before, fueling the popularity of rock and roll and creating a youth culture centered around music. Young people could tune into their favorite stations, sharing the latest hits with friends and connecting with a wider world through a shared musical experience. This accessibility to music helped to break down social barriers and foster a sense of community among the youth. Connecting with a wider world and a shared musical experience. Concerts and parties became common places where young people could gather, dance, and enjoy the music that defined their generation. This cultural phenomenon was a direct result of the technological innovation of the transistor radio. Similarly, the space race, fueled by the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, captivated the world. The technological feats achieved during this period were not just about national pride, they inspired a sense of wonder and possibility, and inspired a generation of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. The achievements in space exploration sparked imaginations and encouraged young people to pursue careers in science and technology, laying the groundwork for future innovations. Technology and culture were inseparable in the 1960s, each shaping and influencing the other in profound ways. The gadgets and innovations of the time were not just tools, they were symbols of a new era, reflecting the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of a generation, each shaping and influencing the other in profound ways. This symbiotic relationship between technology and culture during the 1960s set the stage for the rapid advancements and cultural shifts that would continue to define the decades to come. The seeds of modern innovation. The technological advancements of the 1960s, while seemingly rudimentary by today's standards, laid the groundwork for the digital revolution that followed. The transistor, with its ability to miniaturize electronic devices, paved the way for the integrated circuit, the microprocessor, and ultimately, the personal computer. The development of computer programming languages and the emergence of early computer networks in the 1960s set the stage for the internet and the interconnected world we know today. The seeds of modern innovation were sown in the 1960s, a testament to the ingenuity and vision of the era's scientists and engineers. From transistors to touchscreens, a legacy of progress. From the transistor radios of the 1960s to the smartphones of today, technology has undergone a remarkable transformation. Yet the fundamental principles of innovation, miniaturization, and connectivity remain constant. The legacy of the 1960s technological revolution is evident in the devices we use today. Our smartphones, laptops, and tablets are all descendants of the transistors, integrated circuits, and programming languages that emerged during that era. The 1960s remind us that technological progress is an ongoing journey, a continuous evolution of ideas that builds upon the foundations laid by those who came before us. The enduring allure of analog. Despite the undeniable allure of the digital age, the analog technologies of the 1960s continue to hold a certain charm. The warmth of a vinyl record, the tactile sensation of a rotary phone, the nostalgia associated with these objects evoke a sense of connection to a bygone era. Perhaps it's the simplicity of these devices, the direct connection between user and technology, or the tangible nature of their operation that continues to fascinate us. Whatever the reason, the enduring appeal of analog technologies serves as a reminder that progress doesn't always necessitate the complete abandonment of the past. Section 9. A blast from the past. Your favorite 1960s tech. As we reflect on the technological landscape of the 1960s, it's an opportune time to reminisce about the devices and innovations that captured our imaginations. Was it the sleek design of a classic car, the futuristic allure of a space capsule, or the simple joy of listening to your favorite tunes on a portable transistor radio? Share your memories, your favorite 1960s tech, and let's celebrate the era that ignited the digital revolution and continues to shape the world we live in today.
Thank you for watching and being part of our journey.